Using the Will Hardy line, there was a lot more good basketball than bad by the Jazz tonight. But the good by the Dallas Mavericks for 12 minutes was too good for the Jazz to handle. We'll explain next on POSTCAST.
You are Locked On Jazz, your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Utah Jazz fall to the Dallas Mavericks 106-94. This was the best 3 quarters of Jazz defense all season long. The problem was, in the first quarter, it wasn't. And in that first quarter, Dallas, who had been hot coming in, stayed hot. They went 14 of 25 from the field. They went 9 of 13 from 3, and they scored 40 points. And after that, they only scored 66 points for the next 3 quarters. That's as good a 3-quarter defensive stretch as the Utah Jazz have had this season, holding Dallas to 66 points over 36 minutes. The problem was the 40 that they gave up in the first quarter. But let's start with the positive.
Yeah. And the problem I have with the Jazz, this team, and I think I brought this up during the course of the game, is this a team that can dig themselves out of a hole like that? And you catch a team that was hot. I'm not saying the defense of the Jazz was that bad, but you Grimes comes out sizzling. He makes how many threes? 4 or 5 threes in that first quarter, and they made 9, as a matter of fact, in that first quarter. And now you dug a hole, and it's hard getting out of it.
So, in a season in which, are the Jazz good enough to do, and the end of the question is win if they dig themselves a hole or something like that? Quite frankly, most of that answer, this is not a team that's necessarily built to win a great deal of basketball games. And so, when you start talking about improvement, it is a team for improvement. I think we're seeing some of that. Those 3 quarters of defensive basketball, and particularly the play by Walker Kessler, is high on the scale of improvement.
So impressed with the way he's playing. I mean, so impressed with his rebounding, his ability to block shots. What I'm really impressed with is watching him before the ball game, watch the coaches work with him, taking hits down there, scoring over the left shoulder with the left hand, scoring over the right shoulder. I mean, I saw him shooting threes here tonight before the ball game, and he was making them. So he is driven, I think, right now to be a much better basketball player. Just think about what he was at the beginning of the season. It was like, is he going to be a starting center in this league?
Right.
And now he's starting to show exactly with the energy level that he's putting on out there on the floor that he can play in this league.
I mean, I think he's proven at this point he's a 20-minute, 22-minute, 24-minute a night rotation player in the NBA. And the question is whether he's a 30-minute rotation player in the NBA. And tonight he certainly was. He probably played 30 minutes. So I thought, he was really, really good defensively, protected the paint. The Jazz offensively were not good. They got caught in the they take a lot of floaters anyway, but they really got caught in the floater zone a lot tonight. The floater zone would be the paint non-restricted area. So they ended up taking 30 shots in that area. They started the night 3 of 20. They finished the night 6 of 10. So it doesn't look as bad, but then you think about the 30 for a minute. So 30 of they did take 95 shots, but still almost 30% of their shots are non-restricted area 2s. That's terrible. That's a real problem.
So the Mavericks,
and then they shot
averaging
below
55,
30% on them.
Yeah. It's.
I mean, that's got to be a pass out to a corner 3 or a rotation to above there. Now, Dallas does a good job. They're the 4th best team in the league at denying threes. But that's the shot they're luring you into taking. Every team in the league wants you to take that shot. Our guys have got to make better offensive decisions.
Yeah, I think I told you about this morning. I watched them work on a play with Kessler being a feeder at the top of the free throw line, or in that area right there, starting their offense, and the movement that they had in that setting. I didn't see it tonight. Maybe it's something they're working on, and they're going to put it in sooner or later. But I didn't see that tonight, and I think that's something that's going to get everybody involved, to to a point where they're not eating up a lot of time trying to get into something on the offensive end of the floor.
So Dallas, without Luka Doncic and Klay Thompson, are a really good defensive team. So that's like Luka Doncic is not a good defensive player, and Klay Thompson's no longer a good defensive player. So that's clear. Understanding that, this is the Jazz offense tonight. Ready? Let's just run. Their points per possession were in the 10th percentile of all performances by teams this year. So that means 90% of all teams are better. Their shooting was in the 2nd percentile, meaning 98% of all teams so far this year have shot better than that. Their amount of shots at the rim tonight were in the 7th percentile. The Jazz only got 18 shots at the rim the entire night. The Jazz corner 3 shooting tonight, they only got 8 corner 3s in the entire night, which is low for them. They want to have a lot more. And their half-court offense was in the 6th percentile. Bye, Chuck. I love you. Okay. I love you even though you didn't talk to me today. Okay. That's Chuck Cooperstein, one of my favorite people in the league. We didn't even say hi to each other today. I don't know why. And a 6th, their half-court offense was in the 6th percentile of all. So really, really poor. And the one other thing that reared its ugly head again tonight, that I felt it during the game and I didn't comment on it, was we started allowing transition again with the amount. Our biggest problem is not, in my opinion, the transition that we allow off live ball turnovers. It's the transition that we allow off of our misses. The Dallas Mavericks, according to Cleaning the Glass website, were in transition 31% of all plays tonight. That is the most by any team in any game all season, according to Cleaning the Glass. The fact that we didn't allow 140 points is a flipping miracle.
Yeah, very much so. And because their offense deteriorated quarter to quarter going into the fourth quarter. But I'd like to see that percentage in that first quarter and what it was like in the second, third, and fourth. Can you figure that out, David?
Give me that request again.
What the transition, what it was like in the first quarter and how it had to deteriorate in the second quarter, in the third quarter, and the fourth quarter. You said you gave me four quarters.
I got what you want. I don't think I can get that for you yet. I think I need some data to be entered into sites before I can break.
Because I thought the first quarter was strictly they were scoring in transition.
Okay,
and then things slowed down. I mean, you can look at the shots, 22 shots in the second quarter. They ended up with 22 shots in that second quarter and shot 27%. You know, so things started to.
Yeah, I don't have it quarter by quarter because I didn't keep it during the game. So I'll have to check on that. I'll have it for you some point tomorrow. Is that okay? No, you really want it now. There's a minor chance that this site's going to have it for me. David just keeps searching sites here. It's very exciting.
The Jazz, let's face it, they were beaten by the 3-point line tonight. That's
interesting.
The bottom line, 15 of 39.
Oh, Ron Boone. It looks to me as though Dallas had 8 plays in transition in the first quarter, 7 plays in transition in the second quarter, 6 plays in the third quarter, and 9 in the fourth quarter.
Interesting. Considering that fourth quarter was terrible, with them only scoring, you're going to flex behind that. They only scored, 20 points in the fourth quarter, and all of that was in transition.
It's a numbers flex right there. It's a numbers flex. He asked for the most absurd stat you could possibly find, and whether or not I could find how many transition opportunities Dallas had by quarter. I didn't blink. I just found the answer. I found the solution.
I'll give you that.
I deserve a reliability plus for that.
Still, 3 points. The 3-point shot is what beat us tonight.
What was their final number from 3?
Well, both teams shot 39 threes, but it was the first quarter.
And we made 9, and they made 15.
Yeah, but it still was the first quarter. Separated themselves in that first quarter because they were averaging 55 points in the paint, and they didn't. What did they get tonight?
Not very many.
Not very many. Yeah, 40. 42, all right. 42 is a minute.
I got my reliability square for coming through that. What do you got? Who are you giving reliability squares to?
I have one.
Who's that?
Kessler.
That's it?
That's it.
Did you see what Lacey said earlier? Are you just choosing what Lacey says?
No, what she said.
Lacey said that she lost all credibility with her loving affection for all people on Thanksgiving Eve, and that she needed to have a little bit more of a stingy quality that everybody gets a reliability square, which I would generally agree with. And she thought that only Walker Kessler deserved a reliability square tonight.
Is that what she said?
Yeah.
Thank you, Lacey. Thank you very much.
You know what? You're right, actually. There's only one other person I would give a reliability square to tonight.
And that is
Micah Potter, 12 minutes, 2 of 4 shooting.
Oh, yeah.
3 rebounds,
that'll work.
a steal, and plus 14.
Let's do that. 2 squares tonight.
Okay. 3 squares tonight. 3.
Oh, you gonna give yourself one?
That's,
is that what you're doing?
Yes. Nacho Sanchez just said on the chat room that Walker Kessler is our best player right now. Okay, let's not get too carried away, but I have to admit, I thought the same thing for a brief moment tonight during the game. And I was like, whoa, what am I thinking? Lauri Markkanen's still way better than Walker Kessler. So you're not totally crazy, because literally in the middle of my play-by-play tonight, I thought to myself, wow, Walker Kessler's our best player. And then I was like, oh no, we still have Lauri Markkanen on the team. And so I realized I was wrong, and then said on the air, Walker Kessler's been the best player this quarter on the floor, which he was. In the second quarter of tonight's game, he was the best player on the floor. And I actually want to just quickly say to Nacho Sanchez that actually is super important. The idea that Walker Kessler was the best player in a game for 12 minutes in the whole game of all the players, I'm not sure that's happened before. I'm not sure there's been an entire quarter where Walker was the best player of an NBA game. Maybe. He's had some big nights. But I'm going to get, that's a big deal, that on a given night, with Keontae, we've seen these 5-minute stretches, or we had a whole quarter the other night where he was fabulous, and then the second quarter he wasn't. Those stretches are important. Don't minimize the importance of, if you can never be great for 40 minutes until you're great for 12. And then some other time we can hold a conversation that actually great for 40 is not really great for 30. It's just being really good for 26 and awesome for 14. Right? Isn't that what a great player is? Is they're totally solid for 26 and they go off for 14.
Whatever you said.
Thanks. He believes everything I say now. It's great. Flexing again. Have a good night, everybody. See you.